Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna talk about the Atlas. Yeah, this new thing that came into 3.9 Conquerors of the Atlas. But no, we're actually we're talking about the Atlas, but not about this Atlas in specific. We're not talking about the influence, the watchstones, the awakening level, and so on. This is something we did yesterday. Today I want to talk about map drops in the basic and purest form. That means, hey, why can I not drop tier 16 maps in a tier 1 map, right? What does this line actually mean? What is this connection here? And what maps can I actually drop highest, lowest, and so on? So yeah, this is a basic guideline on map drops, and I think this is kind of important in some case that you understand how your Atlas works. In the case, if you need specific maps, how you can actually get them. Good, so we're gonna make a tutorial here, and in our tutorial, we're gonna use the Scriptorium map. This is basically just a random example map. The good thing about this one is that it has higher tiers connected and so on, so this is actually perfect for our example. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to unsocket these ones here for the tutorial. So this is here my Scriptorium map. We have lower tier maps connected, we have higher tiers connected, and we're gonna talk about this map here to give you, hopefully, to give you a good understanding how that will work. So first of all, the most important thing is, you know, open the notepad, which is not like essential for you, but just to follow it, so it's easier to follow. Basically, we have here, let's say our example map is the Scriptorium tier 5 map. Okay, so we have to understand what mobs do we have in a map, basically, if we are running this tier 5 map, right? We have like white mobs, we have magic and rare mobs, and we have also the boss or just like or uniques, better said, right? Because a breach lord will also count as this type of mob, or let's say I don't know, you do like Beyond, for example. You do Beyond, you know, you spawn a couple of packs here and there, and there is also like Beyond bosses. They will also count into this one, not only the map bosses. So basically, we're gonna start with the white mobs. We're gonna call them +0, right? That means that a white mob in the tier 5 Scriptorium map can drop tier 1 until tier 5 map. You will never see a white mob dropping a tier 6 map if you are in a tier 5 map, okay? This is the rule that will always apply, no matter the Atlas objectives, no matter the bonus objectives, no matter what. So, this is the first rule. Then we have the magic and rare packs. They have the +1 modifier. That means they can drop from tier 1 until tier 6. And the bosses here, they can drop +2, which means they can drop tier 1 until maximum tier 7. So, if you know this simple rule here, basically, you will understand why can you not drop a tier 10 map if you're in a tier 5 map, because the highest that you can get is if you kill the boss and it drops you a tier 7 map, okay? This is the first thing to know. Good. That means if we are running this now, let's say we have a full fresh Atlas here, right? We don't have any watchstones in here, at least like one watchstone in this case, because this is a map that will only be available if you have one watchstone in. But for this example, it's just perfect. So we're gonna do the same here, right? We're gonna just remove 3 of those, and we're gonna search for tier 5 maps. So this is a list here of the current tier 5 maps on those 2 regions. We don't care about anything else here. We're just about to check this one here. So we're gonna start with the basic. You started to map, you killed Kitava, blah blah blah, you started mapping, you did a bunch of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever. You maybe even got your first watchstone in here, and you're kind of running a couple tier 4 maps, but then a peer map decides, hey, I'm gonna drop you a tier 5 map. Okay, so you run this for the first time. This is the only tier 5 map that you've been for the first time, okay? You've never been into Sulfur Vents, into Armory, into Marshes, whatever. This is the only and first map tier 5 that you're running, right? That means you are only able to get the Scriptorium as your tier 5 because no other tier 5 you've been ever in there or completed. So, you haven't completed the Scriptorium yourself, doesn't really matter because you are currently in this map, so you are able to get at least this map that you're in. Good. So, that means a white mob will always, like if it decides to drop a tier 5 map, it will always be the Scriptorium, or lower tiers, right? This is the kind of strategy that we kind of abused when it's permanently sustaining burial chambers and so on. But this is things from the past. I'm not really want to talk about this one. Good. Let's say you killed a magic mob and it decides to drop a tier 6, which is possible since you're in a tier 5 map, you killed the magic or raider pack, they can drop up to tier 6 map. What does that mean? Will you get any tier 6 map? No, you won't. It will check your atlas. Do you have any tier 6 completed? No, you probably will not, because if you don't even have tier 5s completed, you probably not will have tier 6 completed either. But you will still be able to get a tier 6 if they are connected. So you will always be able, no matter if this what tier it is, you will always be able to get maps from a map that are connected to each other. That means if I'm running Scriptorium, I drop a tier 6 map, it can be the Lookout or the Burial Chamber, because both of those are tier 6 and connected. Okay, then it's like 50-50% which one of those two you get. Good. Let's say the same thing. Oh god, let me close this one here. What about this one? No, this is wrong one either. So, good. So when I'm alt-tabbing, we just have these usual... Let me close this one here as well. Oh, good. We only have Atlas and our notepad here, which makes things, like, easier. Good. You're in the tier 5 map, you kill the boss, and the boss says, you know what, you're a cool guy, you're gonna get a tier 7 out of me. Good. Drops a tier 7. Will you get the tier 7? No, you won't. Why not? Because tier 7 is higher, and you haven't done any tier 7s yet, and there is no tier 7 map connected. There is only 2 tier 6 maps and lower tier maps here, for example, the Pier map, Lookout, and Burial Chambers. So the boss says, here you have a tier 7 map. It checks the atlas. Do you have a tier 7 completed or connected? No, you don't. Map is destroyed. Okay? It worked different in the past. It was like, okay, it drops a tier 7. Do you have a tier 7? No, you don't. It gets downgraded to tier 6. Do you have a tier 6? No, but hey, wait a second. This one is connected. You're gonna get this one. This is how it worked before. Now with the new atlas change it works like this. If it drops a tier 7 on the boss, it's destroyed. Therefore, we have a general higher chance of getting maps, okay? So this is like the sustainable, therefore. All right, good. Next thing here that I want to mention, what if you completed other maps on your atlas? Then it adds to your map pool that you can drop. That means if I'm in a Scriptorium tier 5 map and I completed, let's say, the Armory map and the Marshes map, then they add to the map pool and they can drop out of up to like white tier maps can drop them. And so on, right? If on the tier 6 maps, if you don't have them completed, you will only be able to get those two, just for the proper understanding. The next thing that is interesting in this form of the atlas, let's say you can only drop maps from your current active region, okay? Not like from this region here, because we run a Scriptorium. The thing that I mean is, let's say I'm putting this one away. Or at least let's keep that one in, and let's check a map that is both here. Marshes map, is it here somewhere as well? Vault map. No, it's not. Let's take the vault map. So a vault map is the tiniest form without any watchstones in. Is a tier 3 map. So I get one watchstone in. The vault map is now getting upgraded to tier 6 map. That means if a vault drops, it will drop as tier 6. And not as a tier 3. Why is that? Because in my current atlas, when I'm running the map, the vault is a tier 6 map. If I want to have a vault tier 3 map, I need to get this one out, because now the tier 3 vault exists again, okay? That also means for my other maps here in my regions where I have like full watchstones in there, I will never be able to get anything below tier 14. Not possible. I run a tier 14, map says, hey, here you have a tier 13 map, you don't have a tier 13, it's get deleted. Okay, just for the understanding. You will only be able to get maps from your current atlas state. Good. So, about completion. What is a completion? Map completion is pretty simple. You kill the map boss in a map, it gets completed. And then there is something else, which is called the atlas, the completed bonus objectives and the awakening bonus objective. First and most important here, let's talk about the bonus objective first. Basically, you have like a kind of quest to do those maps in a specific way, and this is when you have this orange border around this. What you get when you have the bonus objective completed. I have my atlas completed, which means I have 154 maps here with the bonus completed. Means white tier maps, you have to do magic. Or yeah, magic or higher. Basically, when you mouse over, it says bonus kill boss of magic or higher version of this map. For yellow tier maps, it says kill rare version. And for high tier maps, if we have one that is not upgraded, we need to find a pure version. Here, this is one, Coral Ruins. Kill the boss of corrupted rare. Okay, so for the write down, white maps, magic or higher. Yellow tier maps, rare or higher, and high tier maps is rare and corrupted. And then you get this border around, and it will count like every single map that you do like that will get one additional completion. Now, what does that mean, the completion? It basically is a higher chance of getting certain tiers or upgrades on your maps. As we know from our basic example, if we're in a tier 5 map, and let's keep the example here, I have a 154% chance. This means that I have a 100% chance for +1 tier, and I have 54% chance for an additional +1, which is a total that would actually be +2, okay? So the first 100% is 1 tier higher, and then I have 54% chance for 2 tiers higher. This is what my Atlas bonus objective means. So this rule here will always apply, okay? So let's assume the boss, you're in a tier 5 map, the boss says, hey, you're a cool guy, you're gonna get a tier 7 out of me, and then you say like, wait a second, I have an Atlas bonus objectives, which makes maps higher as well. So I'm dropping a tier 7, 100% will be tier 8, and 54 that it drops tier 9. Makes sense, right? It's not like that. This is the highest of feelings. This is the upper rule, which will apply here, okay? So that means even if you have Atlas bonus objectives and whatever done, the maximum higher tier you can get is a +2. So out of a tier 5, even if I have 100 something bonus, I will never be able to get anything higher than tier 7 on boss drops, okay? Just to make that sure. Then you might actually think, why is this bonus then good, or like, why do I need that if I cannot get higher tier maps anyways, right? And it's about the map sustain. Remember, they can drop from tier 1 until tier 5. That means if you now, let's say the game says, you know what, here have a tier 2 map, for example, okay? The boss will say, okay, the tier 2 map will turn into a tier 4 map because, hey, I'm a boss, I drop 2 tiers higher, okay? But the Atlas will then say, okay, it's a tier 4 map, 100% chance higher to a tier 5 map, and 54 to a tier 6 map. So if you're in a tier 5 map, the game decides to drop a tier 2 map, but since it's a boss, it's a tier 4 map +2, and you have the Atlas bonus objectives, you're gonna convert this tier 2 map into a tier 6 map. Good. Maximum 4 here, okay? But as I said, this will only apply to maps that are lower than your current tier, up to a maximum of +2, okay? Just to clarify that. If it says it's a tier 3 map that drops, boss says it's now a tier 5, that's a tier 6, possible to get a tier 7. If it's a tier 5 drops, map says tier 7, 100% higher, doesn't work, because tier 7 is already the highest because it was a boss and we're in a tier 5 map. Just to make that sure. Then we talk about the new Awakening bonus, which is kind of the same as the Atlas objective bonus. So as I said, every single map that you completed here will give you 1% additional chance to roll higher tier maps. And now we have the scenario where you have this new Awakening bonus, and this basically says you need to kill a map in the highest tier possible with a certain Awakening level. So let's pick any different map here. Let's say this one, Vault map. You need to complete this map at tier 14 with Awakening level 2. That means I have to get like 4 watchstones in here that this map will actually turn into a tier 14 Vault map. And then we need Awakening level 2, and that means you need at least 2 regions in your Atlas that has at least 4 watchstones in there, okay? That means here I have this one for my example. I have only 1 watchstone in that. That means that I don't have level 8, I have level 7. I remove just 1 single watchstone here, it drops to 6, because this region doesn't have the full watchstones in anymore. So every region with a full filled out watchstone tower will give you 1 additional Awakening level. So there are maps that say like this one here, tier 14 Awakening level 3, then we have tier 14 Awakening level 1, and until the end, for example, the Summit map, it says complete this map at tier 16 with Awakening level 8. That means that you have to have every single watchstone in your region fully socketed in. And now this one turns into the Awakening level 8, which is the hardest tier basically, because there's a lot of modifiers that get another multiplier on it, and the maps get harder. And now if I'm doing a summit map, it gets a white circle in the inside. You see that one doesn't have that one, but this one has it. That means I did the Awakening bonus here. The Awakening bonus, as I said, is the same as the Atlas objective bonus, just it has half of the value, okay? So that means in the perfect world, here, we have 100% chance for 1 tier higher, then we have 100% chance for 2 tiers higher, and in the end we have a 31% chance for plus 3 tiers. Why is that? Obviously, we have the 54 from our current. This one is half. The half of 154 should be 77. So plus 77 means 231. So this applies here, okay? That means if I'm running, let's say we're gonna go into the Mausoleum map here. It's a tier 14 map. Then I kill a pack here that says you're gonna drop a tier 10 map. Then it can go up to tier 13 based on your progression here, right? So the next thing and the last thing basically, if it comes to that, is still the same. What is the highest possible outcome here? Let's say again, let's in our new example, we are in a tier 14 map, okay? Let's say we are tier 14 Mausoleum. Okay, that means white mobs can drop tier 1 until tier 14, as we have on the top side. Then we have the yellow tier, or at least magic and rares, they can drop from tier 1 till tier 15. And the boss can drop tier 1 until tier 16. Because this is the highest, this is the same rule that applies that we talked about in the start. But now let's say we have the full completion. What can I basically drop and what does that mean? And now you will understand why is it so important to get the Atlas objective higher. So let's say we are in the Mausoleum map and it drops a tier 10 map, okay? Actually, yeah, let's keep tier 10, doesn't matter. So tier 10 map, it drops. Your Atlas says, you know what, you don't have a single tier 10 map on your Atlas. It's destroyed. So based on the Atlas objective here, I can now get higher tier maps. So instead of a tier 10 map, it will drop as a tier 11, 12, and up to a tier 13 map. So now it says also, hey, it's a tier 13 map now. Congratulations, you had 3 times the objective bonus completed. Here we have a tier 13 map. Oh, you don't have one? Oh, that's a pity. Let's destroy it. It comes more into account when you have like on rare and monster packs where it drops 1 tier higher. So instead of a tier 10 map that we had in the start, it now will drop as a tier 11 map. Your Atlas objective says, hey, wait a second, you have 100% to be tier 12, you have 100% to tier 13, and you have 31 to drop as a tier 14. So instead of a tier 10 map that would have dropped and got deleted, you now get through the Atlas objective bonuses a tier 14 map, and you can get tier 14 maps. So you're gonna have less maps that are going to destroy just because you're lower tier than your active Atlas, and you'll also be able to sustain your maps. And if we do the same with the boss, it drops a tier 10, it's a boss, that's why it's 2 tiers higher, so it's a tier 12 map, and you'll still be able to get your Atlas objectives, which means 13, 14, even up to a tier 15 map, because of the 31% if you have the Atlas, the Awakening bonus completed as well. So instead of a tier 10, you're gonna get a tier 15 if you kill the boss, okay? So this is the major reason why it is so important to get your Atlas objectives going, to get your Awakening bonus going, because then in the end of the game, which I'm currently in, which it means all 32 watchstones socketed in, you only have tier 14 plus, so everything that is below tier 14 will naturally be destroyed because of that rule that how the Atlas works now, okay? But with the Atlas objective bonuses, you will be able to convert maps into higher tiers. So let's make one last example, because this is something that you probably missed at this point. I said it in the start, but let's say again, you're in a tier 14 map, you drop a tier 13 map, okay? So your Atlas bonus plus 2 will say, hey, it's a tier 15 map. The boss says, you know what, it's a tier 17 map because plus 2, right? This will not work. First of all, we don't have a tier 17 on the Atlas. Second of all, this would not work either because we are in a map, the boss drops plus 2. This is the highest that I can get. That means at tier 14, the maximum that I can get would be tier 16. Let's make it easier. Let's move this one down so it's easier to follow here, because tier 7 is a little bit weird to talk about. So you're in a tier 14 map, you drop a tier 13, it gets converted into tier 16, but since it's a boss, it could actually get to tier 18 in that. Oh god, it's now getting super complicated. Never mind. Out of all this Atlas objective and upgrading, this is still the same rule that will apply. I know it's kind of even more confusing when I did the last 2 minutes of explaining here, but this is just the possibilities. Then you can get up to plus 5 tiers of a map to still be sustainable, although it might have been destroyed based on if you haven't gotten bonus objectives done. Holy shit, that was even more complicated than I thought it will be. But I hope this will still give you quite of an insight. We started really with the basics of a tier 5 map, what maps you can get, then the Atlas bonus objectives. But in the end, if you really made it to this point of the video and you are not like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? The simple thing is, get your Atlas objectives done, because then you will have more map drops. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.